On your show, you talk a lot about mental health and the importance of it, and you're an advocate for therapy and for people seeking out help and handling that stuff, because if you ignore it, it gets out of control. Was there a particular incident or a moment where you realized that's something you were neglecting that kind of brought into focus?
Well, I had basically had two experiences where I had been, basically I've been doing the wrong thing on tour while having girlfriends. Is that a kind of diplomatic way to put it?
Yeah.
And that kind of coincided, like I said, with my brother left the band in 2000, at the beginning of 2009. And I went on this whirlwind tour for about 6 months. And then right into the Lamb of God thing. And it was just this thing of, essentially the chickens came home to roost. Right. So it's like this idea that you think of yourself in a certain way. I'm a good guy. You have this perception of yourself that ultimately wasn't that accurate. Right. I had not been that good of a guy. And I had to figure out why because ultimately when you hurt people you care about, you got to do the work and go, okay, well, how did I get here? I didn't intentionally do this. So then why did I do it? Right. And so you go, well, what's wrong with me? What am I searching for? What hole am I trying to fill? What pain am I trying to erase, right? Through whatever way I was expressing that. And those actions hurt people I cared about. And I had to somehow make amends. I don't know if I ever accomplished that, right? But you do what you can, and you do your best to like say, hey, I'm sorry. And even though sorry ultimately doesn't mean that much, it's like, because sometimes in some degree the damage is done, right? You can't put the genie back in the bottle. So it's not necessarily about, hey, I'm gonna go and fix the past. It's like, well, I just have to become a more accountable person. And with that, it coincided with this point in being in the band of going, hey man, this band might not last. For the first time in my life, going, maybe I might not do this. Like the band had kind of fallen off a bit and we were struggling. And like I said, it was like kind of trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again with the band, but also with myself. And so that was probably from like, end of 2009 to like 2012 was like this period of me like figuring out who I was and kind of putting all together. But it coincided with a lot of different events, and but it was work I had to do. It was work I had to do on myself and become a more accountable person, a more honorable person, a more honest person, and someone who goes, you know what, in these aspects, I've been taking the easy way out, and I kind of need to actually deal with some challenges that are just part of adulthood. Is basically I had to grow up in a lot of different ways, but I think having that moment of just calling yourself out on your own bullshit,
right,
and going, those are great moments in life because it fucking sucks, but it also goes, hey, at the end of this, if I actually do the work, I'll figure some stuff out and I'll do better, And so, a lot of that was also figuring out what the hell I wanted to do with my life, because that was the thing. I think maybe a lot of people know what they want to do, but you think you should know what you want to do, but sometimes you go, actually, what do you want? And you go, I don't actually really know, that was a process of actually going, well, what do I want? What are my values? What are, right? Like, because sometimes, I tend to go with the flow. And so you tend to just be in environments that you didn't necessarily cultivate. You kind of just went where life took you. And it was so taking a little bit more control.
And it's hard to look yourself in the mirror that way and kind of straighten all that stuff out. And it takes work, but it's worth it. And I'm always interested in kind of what it took to get people to the point, because, I had those moments in my life where I ignored things, and then the point where they caught up to me. And it's something that, I'm glad we're in a place where, you're talking about it. I've talked about it with, several people on my show, and it's just part of the conversation, the mental health part where it's like, you kind of need to figure this stuff out because it is important. So I'm always interested in that. So thank you for being so honest about just, on your show and just with me, just in talking about it, because it's important for people to hear that, because it's not easy.